Welcome to the 360 show. I wasn't bragging, but it was a proud moment as I posted this weekend when my boy got his first 50. With his 360 bat, by the way, which Daddy organized for him. It was a very, very cool moment and something I'll never forget. There's lots of cricket to cover in this week's show, guys. The number one and two T20 international teams up against each other. Also, Babar Azam's return in T20 internationals. Themba Bavuma's back in the test arena. Lots of cricket to cover. I'll also talk about a 70-year-old ancient sport that I didn't even know of. So wait till the end for that. It's on the 360 show. Let's go. This is the 360 view. First up, first topic as I hit the stop clock right now. It's India and Australia facing off in T20 internationals. 5 of them, guys. That'll be played in Canberra, MCG, Hobart, the Gold Coast, which would be interesting. One of the prettiest spots in Australia, and also Brisbane. It's a away series for India, so it won't be easy for them, as we saw in the ODIs. But they did get a little bit of momentum. I know it's a different format, but winning that last ODI, maybe that sort of just helped the morale of the T20 team to go, you know what, let's upset the Aussies in their backyard. These are the two best teams in T20 International at the moment, guys. Let me read the stats here quickly for you. Since 2024, the highest win percentage, India, 89%, which is incredible in T20s, by the way, and 84% for Australia, which is also phenomenal. Third base is New Zealand with 57%. So it just shows you the dominance of these two teams. Does the IPL play a role in this? I think so. As we see, I think the Australian participation is the most of any country, obviously apart from India, in the IPL. So maybe their players getting incredible exposure over there at the IPL in India. Obviously, Team India really reaping the rewards of the IPL. I think it plays a big role. Let me know what you guys think. It's obviously batting domination for Team Australia. Their top order boundary percentage is 23% of their runs coming in boundaries, where India 22%. Once again, the rest of the teams far behind. Australia hits a 6 every 10.6 balls, with India second on the table with a 6 every 12.1 balls. So definitely the two best teams, guys. We can go through the squads. Not a lot of surprises there, as I mentioned the IPL. We see most of these players feature in the IPL. That is where you get your exposure, your experience, and you get to know some of the best players in the world as you share a dressing room with them and also play against them. Star-studded teams, these two squads. Most players are in form. It's definitely the number one and two T20 international teams in the world at the moment, and it's going to be a roller coaster of a ride. I'm expecting a highly competitive series, but also an emotional series. When these two teams face, historically, it's been emotional and it brings out the best in both the teams. I am very much looking forward to that. I don't have a favorite here, as the stats are really close. Both teams playing phenomenal cricket. It is an away game series for India, so maybe Aussie slight favorites, but we know there's a lot of Indian people living in Australia as well. They get a lot of support, as Mitch Marsh was seen making a joke saying it was a good away win. And I think he was referring to that. Wherever Team India goes, they get fantastic support. And that is wonderful to see. The most loyal support base in the world. Moving to topic 2, that's enough for that. South Africa, Pakistan, T20 internationals. And the big news there is Babar Azam is back. Who's missing out? Fakhar Zaman, which is very interesting. He was told by Coach Hessen that he wants him to go back to domestic cricket to work on his technique. And I can sort of relate to that, guys, as the T20 format, you don't really get time to work on the basics and the fundamentals of the game. And I've experienced this in the IPL before, where I wanted to tweak one or two things halfway through the tournament, but because of the nature of the format and the speed of it, there's just no time to regroup and reset. There's not a lot of training sessions in between games, and before you know it, you're in horrible form, and you don't have time in the middle to make decisions. You have to immediately sort of get momentum for your team. There's no real time to build that foundation. Unless you're in good form, you always feel you have more time than other players. But when you're out of form, it is a horrible feeling, and maybe that's the thinking here. quite interesting as Babar also hasn't been in the best of form in the white ball cricket, but it is good to see him back in T20 internationals. I always feel there is place for your classical batter in a lineup to sort of be that cement, a Virat Kohli kind of look-alike or kind of player to just keep things together, allow some of the other players to be overly aggressive. Quite interesting that. Let's move on then to topic 3 before I run out of time once again. The Women's World Cup, Team South Africa against Team England. The main topic here, horrible memories of playing against them earlier in this tournament. At Guwahati, the same ground. Can you believe it? It's worked out like that for Team South Africa. They're going to have to go out there and face their demons. They were really bowled out cheaply against Team England earlier in the tournament, and some of the batters will have to get across that challenge and that obstacle right in front of them, especially the top order, need to take responsibility in the semi-finals clash to go out there and turn the tide against Team England. And I back our Proteas women's side to go out and do exactly that. Obviously, the other semi-finals, Australia and India, that's going to be one incredible clash as well. We will find out very soon who are the finalists. It's all happening this week, guys. So I think actually today, on Wednesday, is that semi-finals clash between South Africa women's and Team England women's. So we'll see who comes out on top there. Exciting times. Last but not least, Themba Bavuma's back for that tour of India. This tour will not be easy, guys. Yes, South Africa's got a little bit of confidence now after that win against Pakistan. Fantastic performance, especially from their spin bowlers. But my concern is in the batting department, the top 5. Do they have what it takes to score enough runs in India? We'll have to wait and see as I've run out of time. I'll just finish off like that. The first test match is at Eden Gardens in Kolkata. The second test match is in Guwahati. There comes that city up again. So hopefully the Proteas women can turn it around for the Proteas men to go out there on the 22nd of November and play a good test match in Guwahati. For me, I feel our bowlers will be fine in the test series. The batters is the main concern. Can we find a way to get that balance right? I don't think there is a lot of room to play your all-rounders. So someone like a Vian Mulder, perhaps under a bit of pressure, as we won that second test match against Pakistan with a more specialized approach, all right, and not having Mulder up batting at number 3. I think most places in the world you can have that role, especially when he's a big threat with the ball in hand. In South Africa, England, places like that, New Zealand, and then you can sort of bat him up the order because you know he's going to sort of contribute with the ball in hand. Where places like India calls out for specialist players, specialized batters to take responsibility to score the bulk of the runs, specialized bowlers to get the bulk of the wickets. That is my 5 cents. I think generally that's not a bad outlook in test matches and the test format. But I do love an all-rounder who can sort of contribute with both bat and ball. All right, I'm way over time, but I did finish the topic there on 360 seconds. Let's move on to AB Reacts. Welcome to AB Reacts, guys. First up, it's England and New Zealand. England touring to New Zealand. The T20 series was a bit of a disappointment for all of us. Lots of rain-affected matches. Only one result where England won that one game and ended up winning a series. I don't know if you can call it a series. A series generally refers to something that's more than just one event. But anyway, England walking away with that. I don't think they have a lot of bragging rights for it, though. As they started in that ODI series, first up result for Team New Zealand, England losing there. Very interesting for me as Harry Brook played a fantastic knock for his 100. Incredible comeback as they were in huge trouble. It looked like they were going to get bowled out for like 70 or 80 at some stage there. 135 from him, getting them to a competitive total. In walked Daryl Mitchell, 78 not out. And in my humble opinion, if it wasn't for that 78 not out, New Zealand would have lost the game. So why give the man of the match to Harry Brook? Not taking anything away from his 100. I thought it was incredible. Great resilience showed. But generally for me, the man of the match is if you take that guy's performance out, they end up losing the game. But because of his performance, they win the game. And that to me is man of the match. Anyway, whoever made that decision, you can't always just go purely on stats. Oh, he's got more runs, he's got to be man of the match. No, that's not how I've always thought about man of the matches. Man of the match is the guy that walks in. If he didn't walk in there, If he didn't bowl that spell, they would have lost the game. Finished. Just simple as that. Daryl Mitchell was the man of the match. 78 not out. They would have lost had he not scored those runs. Anyway, they go on to the second ODI. Guys, if you missed that first game, by the way, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you could have watched the first ODI on Fancode. But if you missed out, it's not too late because there is a second ODI coming up on the 29th of October in Hamilton. So get your Fancode account ready. There's also a third ODI. That is the 1st of November in Wellington. Lovely city on the coast there in New Zealand. It's a bit windy sometimes, but a great place to play cricket. Watch it all on Fancode. The England's batters is a bit of a concern as it's a very similar setup as that Ashes tour coming up later this year. So just food for thought as we saw Root, Butler, except for Harry Brook, the rest of them really fail. And they will all feature in the Ashes later this year. Is it a concern for them? I think it's something to think about. Make sure as soon as possible you get those players in form. Australia's conditions may be a bit flatter, so maybe it's not a big concern for them. But Brendan McCullum would definitely want these players in better form going into the Ashes. There's no doubt about that. You cannot win test matches if you don't score enough runs and give your bowlers the freedom to attack. All right. Also on Fancode, guys, before I move on from the Fancode, insert here West Indies tour of Bangladesh. It's a three-match T20 International Series going on there. The first one was won by the West Indies. Lots of drama. There was a six hit by Tuscan, and at the same time, he hit his wicket. Was it a dead ball? Was it already crossed? No, it wasn't. It was out. Bizarre dismissal. But the second T20 is today, I think, and it's also on Fancode. Also, Afghanistan tour of Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe's got a horrible record against Afghanistan in T20 international cricket. That is also coming up as 3 T20 international matches, and that's starting also today. Lots of cricket today. I told you there's a lot of cricket. All of this on Fancode in India, guys. Get your account ready and do not miss any of the action. Speaking of, did you watch the La Liga El Clasico I spoke about? Barcelona, my team? No, they lost. Real Madrid winning 2-1 there. Very emotional, drama-driven game, as it always is in the El Clasico. But well done to Real Madrid. They have been dominating over a lengthy period of time. And no celebrations for me and Team Barca, for Lamine Yamal and co. Rashi. I was really hoping they would upset Real Madrid. But it is what it is. I think Real's got a decent lead on the table now, and Barca's got a lot of work to do to come back. They are second, but I think it's with 5 or 6 points. So lots of work there. Quickly to the Ashes series. Pat Cummins will be missing the first test match with a back injury. It's not a huge concern in my opinion, as Mr. Scott Boland will most probably run out in his place or retain his spot in that team. But it's always been difficult for him to get consistent cricket in that test side. But we've heard Virat Kohli speak highly of Scott Boland before, and that's why I say it's not a huge concern for Team Australia, because he is absolutely phenomenal. Steve Smith will replace him as captain or stand in for him as captain. Quite interesting with his history, but I am quietly very, very happy for the guy to see him captain in the Ashes again after we know what he's been through in his career. That is something of the past now, and it's great to see fans of cricket in Australia and around the world really support this guy. He's a wonderful person, wonderful cricket player. He will go in the record books as one of the best test players of all time. And it's great to see him captain his country again in that first test match in the Ashes. So all the very best to him and all the best to Cummins for coming back. Talking about injuries, Shreyas Iyer picked up a spleen laceration injury during one of his games over there at the SCG, was running back. So upon impact, I think we don't exactly know the nature of the injury yet. But I definitely can relate to some injuries that I've picked up over my career. It is so frustrating, guys, but you have to take care, have to make sure you do the basics well, and sort of trust your body as well, right? Yes, take the advice from the doctors, and then slowly but surely sort of, I would say, look to find active rehab as much as you can without hurting it again. That's always worked incredibly well for me, as I would really trust my body and my instinct with that. Obviously, stay in touch with the doctors on a regular or on regular intervals, and make sure you get the right kind of treatment, medicine, rehab in place. But I always felt, for me, active rehab is the most impactful thing that you can do, as long as you are responsible with that and they get the right kind of advice. But all the best for Shreyas. I hope you recover well. A very unfortunate event that took place there. And like most sports people, I'm pretty sure he will bounce back. Let's move to the comment box, guys. I've got some really, really cool comments here from you guys, and I appreciate that. Dex, first up, it was good to see Stubbs and Brevis among runs in the Pakistan series. Stubbs more of a grinder, where Brevis obviously more attacking. What is the right approach in Test match cricket? Interesting topic, that, guys. It's funny you say that. Both of them played okay. I don't think they had great series over there in Pakistan. Stubbs, I felt, was a bit more too sort of stuck in a way, and I would like him to be a bit more attacking. And Brevis exactly the opposite. He's a bit more fidgety in a way, a lot more aggressive, and he's got to sort of find a way to pull back a touch. Ultimately, what it comes down to is a balance. And I've spoken on numerous occasions about gears, and you find the same thing in Test match cricket. If the bowlers are bowling well, and you feel you're going to get out, you've got to make a decision. I'm either going to have to tighten up and make sure I am incredibly solid with my technique, or you sort of find a way to bounce back and play the attacking style, and sort of have a go at the bowlers, play them out of their game plans. So these two players do that well, but I feel Stubbs is too sort of conservative in those moments. When he feels threatened, he really gets stuck. And Brevis is overly aggressive when he feels threatened and tries to take every ball on. So for both of them, I think it's a matter of finding the balance between sort of tightening up, being conservative, but always looking to pounce on anything. Always sort of fine-tune your game plan. So that would be my 5 cents for both of them, to be a bit smarter out there. Stubbs have got to find a way to look to pounce and not just play that first gear cricket, because you almost become a sitting duck, and you hear commentators speak about that very often. And for Brevis, you line yourself up for criticism from commentators, journalists. When you play over attacking, it looks like you are careless out there. I've been in that box many times before. So you have to find a way to sort of balance it out. Play between second and fourth gear in those moments, not in first gear, not in fifth, but just between second and fourth. All right. The bowler needs to know you're there, but also you need to be tight at the same time and sort of play smart cricket. All right, the Marvel Zone 17, it's nice to have you back. I know you had troubles with your channel. It's great to have you back. I'm looking forward to the interactions in the future. And then, Laurette, you did feature on the live show, so I was happy to see you comment again. Is it harder to face left-hand bowlers? Interesting take. It's definitely unique and something you got to get used to. And that goes back to preparation. You got to fine-tune your technique. I've always opened up a touch to left-hand bowlers. Got my head in sort of on leg stump instead of middle and off, perhaps. And you always got to figure out as soon as you can, is there swing? So is LBW and bold a threat or not? If he just goes across me, I can always come out of my crease, move off onto off stump, which takes LBW and bold out of play, because I know he can't swing it back. But if the guy can actually bring it back and take it across you, it becomes a bit harder. I would also still go out of my crease more often than not, try and cut that angle of that leg stump to sort of make it more difficult for him to pitch it up. So most deliveries will pitch outside leg. And for those that swing back, will have to be really full, and I back my eye to play half volleys. So just little tweaks that you get used to after picking up experience, practicing it enough, and also facing it in the middle enough. It's definitely different to facing a right-hand bowler, where bold and LBW is a lot more in play. So you got to fine-tune areas and find techniques to counter that. Anyway, Lorette, great question. It comes down to experience and really training it and figuring out your own game plans against left-hand bowlers. Last but not least, do you keep a high backlift in T20s and in middle one in ODI? Sorry, in middle backlifts in ODIs and Tests? No, I never thought about that. I think naturally it would change during a game as I read the situation and the issues I'm confronted with. But generally, I wouldn't think about it, honestly. I would tweak it in practice sessions sometimes, but I would never go into a certain format and think differently about my backlift. I think it would just get fine-tuned as I spend time out there in the middle. It wasn't the last, but the least. There's one more. Is it a good idea to play a specialist batter at number 8 in ODI cricket to strengthen the batting depth? I wouldn't play a specialised batter at 8 ever. It will always be an all-rounder. What you can do is you can have a batting all-rounder, and you can have a bowling all-rounder. And you can play around according to the opposition that you're up against and also the conditions that you are confronted with. But you can talk about this for ages, guys. The makeup of a team, the balance. It's an interesting topic, and maybe we'll cover that again in the live before the big test series coming against for the Ashes, for instance, or South African India. We'll talk a bit more about this and the makeup of teams and what I think is best for teams to move forward with. All right, I did speak about the 70-year-old sport, this ancient sport. It is called Octopush. It's quite a funny name. It sort of was first played in Portsmouth in England in 1954. It's underwater hockey, guys, and the first World Championship was held in Canada in 1980. Obviously called Octa because there are 8 people against each other. And push, I don't know if you push. I actually don't know anything about this. There's also terms such as cuttle and gully, similar to cricket. Before I sort of push myself into a corner here, let's have a look at this video of underwater hockey. And there will also be underwater hockey taking place in Durban later this year. So quite interesting. Let's have a look at this video. Yeah, guys, interesting sport, right? I am incredibly happy that I don't have to play the sport because I'm not a big of a water baby. So I don't know how often you can go up to breathe there. I guess you got to do breathing exercises as well. Spend a lot of time in the water. I have a lot of respect for these players and sports people of Octopush. But I'm very happy that that's not the sport that I'm taking part in. Also interesting, if you call it a ball, obviously not a ball, it's more like a puck of ice hockey. So similar to that, I could see it actually move around in the water with that one strike. It actually sort of changed direction. So it's obviously not easy to handle the puck and to be a goalkeeper here, because it's almost similar to football, to soccer, where the ball swerves in the air sometimes and it's tough for the goalies to stop. But lots of respect for the guys taking part in Octopush and all the very best with all the players out there. I didn't know about this sport, and I'm very, very happy that I'm not playing it. But it reminds me a bit of some of the water sports that we see. Obviously, a lot of them we see in the Olympics, which is fantastic. Water polo, the list goes on. But my favorite is the guys jumping off, doing all the moves and not splashing a lot, getting points for that. Similar to gymnastics in a way. It's one of my favorite water sports to watch, as I think it takes a lot of training to get that right. To all the Octopush people out there, enjoy your sport. And to all of you, thanks for joining in this week's 360 show. Like, subscribe to the channel, and also share it with your friends. I really appreciate it. And I will be seeing you on live this coming weekend. Lots of cricket to enjoy. Get your fan code account ready, and I'll see you guys on Saturday. Have a great week, and bye now. Yeah.